Enzo Fernández is a cornerstone asset for Chelsea FC, a global star operating at the absolute peak of the sport. He is part of a select group whose talent commands massive investment and worldwide attention. But after a bitter match against the English national team, Fernández and his teammates reportedly spent the night harassing home players before holding up a banner claiming the Falkland Islands belong to Argentina. Within the folklore of Argentinian football, this gesture is seen as a statement of national identity. In the United Kingdom, however, it is viewed as a calculated insult that reopens a deep and painful historical wound. This celebration bypassed the typical cycle of sports drama. Instead of a simple locker room controversy, Fernández and his teammates now face a direct confrontation with the host nation's geopolitical boundaries. Usually, these kinds of international conflicts are resolved entirely by football's own governing bodies. This chart of FIFA's regulations shows that stadiums must remain neutral spaces, strictly free of any political or geopolitical displays. Despite these clear rules, FIFA has remained silent. There have been no fines, no official statements, and no suspensions handed down to the Argentinian squad. That silence has pushed the conflict out of the stadium. British politicians and furious fans are now looking past football's jurisdiction, taking the matter directly to the halls of government. The demand coming from UK authorities is clear. They are calling for the immediate cancellation of the work visas for every player involved in the provocation. FIFA's lack of action left a disciplinary vacuum. Without a resolution from within the sport, the dispute has moved to the Home Office, where the players' futures now depend on the interpretation of UK labor laws. To understand how Fernández could be removed, we must look at the UK's immigration system. Since Brexit, visa regulations for foreign workers have become exceptionally strict and heavily monitored. UK authorities can cancel a work permit if behavior is contrary to public interest or sparks heavy social unrest. By challenging British sovereignty, Fernández is perfectly targeted. His actions are now framed as a direct threat to public order. The referee's whistle no longer matters. His multi-million-dollar career in England now hangs on a government administrator's decision to enforce these immigration codes. If a visa is revoked, the legal reality is absolute. Fernández would lose the right to train, play, or even reside in the country, rendering his contract with Chelsea effectively useless. This balance sheet shows how a €100 million player becomes a stranded asset, a locked liability unable to perform. With the transfer window's ticking clock, Chelsea has only days to find a solution before being stuck with a legally barred player. The only way out would be a desperate fire sale. Chelsea would be forced to offload Fernández to a foreign league at a fraction of his value, just to get his salary off their books. A single geopolitical gesture has the power to dismantle a massive corporate asset. It shows exactly how even the most expensive global players remain entirely vulnerable to the sovereign laws of their host nation. Even if official deportation is avoided, the damage is likely permanent. For Fernández, the bridge with the British public and his own supporters has been burned, making a long-term career in London nearly impossible. The only remaining options would be leagues in Italy, Spain, or France, places where British national sentiment is less of a factor, though his professional reputation would still be under a microscope. The myth of the untouchable, borderless athlete is hitting an iron gate. Global fame and massive wealth do not provide immunity from the sovereign laws of the country providing the platform. If these measures move forward, the Premier League enters a new era. Off-field political behavior would be established as a formal trigger for a player's legal expulsion from the country. High wages and international stardom are no protection against geopolitical reality. Ultimately, professional athletes are guests of the nations that employ them, and those nations are now proving they are willing to show them the door.